Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Morning Hustles. A young lady who I've seen on TV so much, I'm gonna start calling her She and N. She go by the name of Legally Hype. It's time to believe the hype. What up, Queen?
Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
Yo, doing fantastic. You know, the world that we walk on is still crazy as it's ever been. We got to talk about models that murder, ASAP Glocky and Nurse Nick. Not to be confused
Let's
with Nicki
do it.
Minaj, though.
Right? Let's do it. Let's do it.
All right, so let's talk about this influencer by the name of Courtney, who has now got a different set of eyes on her because she's pretty abusive.
Okay, so boom. Courtney has been arrested for stabbing her boyfriend, allegedly stabbing her boyfriend and killing him. So she is now charged with second-degree murder. So you remember we talked about this not too long ago. Initially, when the police came, they did not arrest her. She was, out and about doing her thing. People were recording her, like the audacity of you for your boyfriend to be dead and you out here kicking it. Well, they reviewed the evidence out there in Florida, and the evidence shows that maybe the story didn't happen the way she said it did. So she was claiming self defense initially, but the district attorney out there showed evidence that it looks like she stabbed him from an upper area, right? Like, so the stab actually came down, which is
Okay.
inconsistent with her story that she threw a knife at him from about 10 feet away. They was like, that doesn't sound right. That's not what the evidence is showing. We had the doctors look at it, and the doctor said, nah, she came down. That knife is about 3 inches into the artery on the right side of his chest. He's gone. Second degree murder.
Wow, that is the most law and order you've ever broke anything down. Because as soon as you started talking about angles and stuff like that, I knew exactly where you're going. And I do got to point out, we're leaving her last name out of it because I don't want this woman to get any more famous than she
Okay.
already is. I don't want nobody adding to her GoFundMe, her legal defense fund. This was a white woman who murdered a black person and a long history apparently of abusing said boyfriend. We've seen it on camera. We've heard testimonies from like friends and people that was around the relationship. This was a toxic situation at its finest.
Absolutely. So this is like your classic domestic violence, right? There is video of her in an elevator attacking him, hitting him. You see he's kind of not really trying to engage with it, mostly just trying to back her up, back her away from him. They have witnesses from the apartment building where they live. It sounds like they were about to get evicted because it was just so much chaos and drama in their house. They had multiple noise complaints. It sounds like what happened is like the mom came to town, Courtney's mom came to town. They had kicked the boyfriend out, I guess, while the mom was in town. And then the boyfriend came back. Courtney and the boyfriend got into it. And now he is gone. And so the DA basically is like, maybe this wasn't intentional, but your act was so reckless. And that reckless act caused his death. Therefore, second degree murder. So they went and picked her. Well, I don't know if they picked her up yet. I do know she was in Hawaii, and it sounds like she may have been in a rehab center in Hawaii. But the police was like, "We don't care. You can run, but you can't hide. We sending the task force over there to come get you and let you know you're going to jail." So we are waiting. It sounds like she waived extradition, so she will be going back to Florida. Now, in Florida, second degree murder, mm, she's gonna be looking at a long time.
Do they do the death penalty in Florida still?
They do Florida do the death penalty. Florida and Texas, you get on death row, you got about 22 days and you out to the
Damn.
chamber. Okay, they they run them through the chamber. Okay, like they don't care. But yeah, they do have the death penalty. However, this likely will not be a death penalty case because it's not a first degree or felony murder.
Mm-hmm.
It's second degree murder. Now that can still be up to a life sentence, but the sentencing structure is longer, so the judge will have more options in terms of what her length of sentence will be. So it's not an
Please allow this
automatic
to
life sentence.
Okay. Now, please allow this to be a cautionary tale. If you're in a relationship to where like you guys are like at each other's throats all the time, it's okay to walk away from that. Nobody has to sit in a relationship that isn't serving you, that is violent. It's not healthy for anybody involved. And RIP to anybody who's lost their life at the hands of one of those. Now, a situation
Absolutely.
that was close but didn't necessarily end in a fatality, but it could be fatal to my man's pockets, is ASAP Rocky. He is accused of shooting at his best friend.
Okay, so boom, yes. So ASAP Rocky has been charged with yet another assault with a deadly weapon in Los Angeles, right? So apparently Him and ASAP really got into a little situation somewhere in the back alleys of Hollywood, and guns got to flanging. Or I don't know if they really got to flanging. I'm being extra, but some
Flinging them
shots
guns.
popped off, right?
Okay.
No, some shots popped off there, and it sounds like ASAP really man got hit in his hand, one of these hands, right? So he went to the hospital, and he went and snitched on his homeboy. And so the DA here, George Gascon, he was like, okay, well, this is dangerous, ASAP. You can't be out here doing this. This is not the first time you done did it. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to go ahead and add these weapons charges and, yeah, this assault.
Yeah, I'm gonna start
Felonious.
calling this dude ASAP Telly because here's the
Okay.
thing: friends get into disagreements and disputes. You ain't never shot at your friend before.
Absolutely not. But this
Good
the
answer.
thing, too. um, absolutely not. Um, And if I did, I wouldn't tell y'all. I know better than now. I'm gonna prove it. No, I'm just kidding.
Right.
But like this is some street dude stuff too, right? So it's Telly, right? You out here breaking the code, but I guess we see it ain't no code no more. ASAP said you shot me and I want my funds and I want you to go to jail. So it is what it is, player.
Well, here's the thing. Like, I'm not even tripping off the fact that ASAP really told. It's the fact that why did you wait so long to say something? You wait for this dude to become a whole parent out here in these streets, have a baby, like getting ready for the next chapter of his life, and you wait to this moment to like let the shoe hit the ground.
Okay, so boom, you don't get to tell me when I decide I want to come forward. If it's a statute of
I
limitations,
know.
if there is a statute of limitations, I said I got this much time, then take your time.
Well, I promise you this, legally hype. If you shoot at me at 12:02, I'm notifying the proper authorities at 12:05. I promise.
I'm gonna be gone by then, so do what you gotta do, play it. Just
See?
kidding.
It's just that LA lifestyle. Last but not
Right.
least, let's talk about Nurse Nikki, who, for those who don't know, like she's a nurse who, fatally killed 6 people in a reckless driving incident that had the hearts and minds of the world, captured a couple weeks ago. What's the latest on that?
Okay, so boom. So y'all was getting on my head last week talking about something. You sound like her defense attorney. And all I was saying was, let's just wait until we get the evidence, right? Because Nurse Nikki had a hearing not too long ago, and her attorneys are saying, them stories y'all running in the media talking about she been in 13 car accidents, that's not true. Like, stop
Oh,
playing with our client like that. Okay. There's no proof that that's what happened. However, the DA was like, okay, cool, maybe that's not true, but we do have evidence that it's something wrong with your homegirl because we have seen that she has been violent before. She has a violent history. She potentially has a background of mental health, issues in her background because they're saying that they have evidence that she was jumping on top of police cars. She has jumped out of windows. She has tried to harm herself before. So this goes a little closer to her defense of there may be mental health issues. However, we don't know what this has contributed to. At the same time, right? Maybe she didn't have 13 incidents or 13 accidents, but there is evidence that she was recently in an accident, I think around 2020 sometime, where the cars were totaled, right? And there were bodily injury and things of that nature. And it sounds like she was at fault in that accident.
mm,
So that's a far different cry from 13, right? A few
right,
of us, a few people, I'm sure some of y'all driving right now have been in car accident, you know what I'm saying, early in the
right.
morning, looking for your coffee, you dropped your cell phone, wasn't paying attention, whatever the case may be, and it went left from there. So I think this is a completely different cry from, oh, she's just this reckless driver, right? She's been in 13 accidents. Why she still have her license? This, that, and the third. So now her attorneys are looking into her mental health issues. So they have asked for a little more time to like figure that out. But she's still no bond. She's still sitting in jail, and we are going to see what happens with this case.
Yeah, I can't front. From a legal standpoint, it seems like it's a very well played approach on the half of the defense because they usually seem to be a little bit lenient with people who are kind of having a breakdown. We kind of see in
Absolutely
this
not.
mental health safety hedge of protection out here right now.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
You
Not,
don't think you
especially
don't
not
think
here
that's gonna
in Los
work?
Angeles. Absolutely not. So it
Really?
may
Because
mitigate
everybody
her
in LA is
charges.
crazy. Is that why?
And our mental health system out here is raggedy. Absolutely, I said it. I don't care. It needs some help. But no, that right, like because her mental health issues. One, it's going to be: is she competent to stand trial? If she's competent to stand trial, it is what it is. You're going to trial, and you don't necessarily have. I'll say this: the way that they determine if you are competent to stand trial is very it's easy. I'll just say that it's just easy
Okay.
to determine, right? We'll just say that. On top of that, right, even if she does have mental health issues that potentially caused her to react the way she did, which led to this accident, it may just mitigate whether the type of murder, right? This may get dropped down to like a vehicular manslaughter or something like that, but we still have six victims, right? We still have six deceased people.
And six
You're
potential civil cases, right? If they choose to
exactly
sue.
wrongful death lawsuits, right, where the burden of proof is less. All you need is a preponderance of the evidence. You don't even need 12 people to decide. If seven of them decide, you're gonna have to pay. So the reality is like she's still looking at a lot of time regardless because she is charged with each individual victim, right? So they are not comprehensive in the sense of like, oh, this is just one, incident. Yeah, but you have six people. So you may get sentenced per person
Right.
depending on what decision the jury comes back with. So the only hope is maybe her charges will be mitigated, right? Or her sentence may be mitigated because of her mental health. But we already see from the judge's reaction in her bond hearing, they're not trying to hear it. They're like, she's a nurse. So you knew you had mental health issues. You knew what you needed to do to take care of them. Why you didn't take care of them? So it's going to be
And also,
interesting.
I think it puts it in perspective too. Like, her employer who would allow somebody with mental health issues to be able to deal with patients at any level if you felt like he was a little off kilter.
Okay, so boom. So this is the thing. She was a traveling nurse, right? So she's technically an independent contractor. Correct me if
Oh,
I'm wrong,
okay.
but because you get to decide what contracts you want to take, when you want to work, how you work there, how long you work there. So who's to say, right? And we see a lot of traveling nurses after the pandemic, right? Because the nurses they didn't get no slack during the pandemic. They was like, you got to come to work. I don't care if your kids don't go to school or whatever case may be. It is what it is. Figure it out. So as a traveling nurse, she had a lot more autonomy on how she moved around, and it was probably easier to slip through the cracks. In terms of whatever mental health issues she had, who knows how long if they were doing background checks. I don't know how nursing works. I should ask my mom if she's a nurse, but yeah, I don't know how it works in terms of checking like her mental health and her background with the nursing board and things like that. But yeah, it's very likely that whatever issue she had, because she was going from position to position every couple of weeks, every couple of months, it just went through the cracks.
Wow. It's a lot to unpack. Thank you for making it easy to compartmentalize all the
Of
things that
course.
we unpacked.
Of
Legally
course.
hype. Always coming through
Yes.
with the goods, man. If people want to follow you, where you at, girl?
I am legally hype on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. Follow me. Legallyhype.com is officially open. The merch store is on there. Yes, you can get the Legally Hype merch now. Whoa, it's going down. So yeah, we're official now.
Love to see it, man. Also, man, be sure you check the link in the bio so you can check out our interview with Van Jones. Much love to
Yes.
you, Queen. Keep breaking
Thank
it
you.
down so that people can understand it.
Thank
Legally
you.
hype,
Thank you.
y'all.
All right.
We are the morning hustle.